Hmm. Good morning, Panther fans. How is everybody doing today? This show is going to be stew heavy because about halfway through the live stream last night, the 5 hour live stream, um, my voice kind of went on me. I don't think it's because of the length of the live streams either. I got some other things going on. I'm okay, don't worry about it. But I will be a little bit subdued this morning. So I'm just gonna say this once, and I'm not gonna say it again. I'm not going to freak out because this is exactly what I said what was going to happen. I don't know how else to say it. So, good morning, Stu. How we
Eric,
doing, buddy? How we doing?
doing good. Morning, everybody. Welcome to Flying Fluffy Hockey, the number one Panther fan podcast in the world. And here's our, review of Philly.
Yeah, another loss.
Another loss, but that's only because they fell asleep for a couple of minutes. Well, they fell asleep after that first goal. But let's start off by saying, from the opening whistle, they came to play.
Yep.
Unlike Chicago, where they were sleepwalking, they had jump. They were just, first of all, Maurice finally listened and made a move. He
Right.
put Kachuk up with Verhage and Barkov. Wow, what a difference. Barkov was into it last night. He had, that line had chemistry. If they keep playing with each other, it's only going to get better. But I really thought Barkey was going to get a goal last night. Still him and Reinhardt still snake bitten, but that was the move to make. And the other move that he made was putting Lundell up on the power play.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't score, that power play looked good. They were shooting pucks. And that's Carter Hart. I mean, what did we get? 100 shot attempts. I think we had 49 shots on goal.
Yeah.
We had 17 or 18 shots in the first period. So
Yeah.
I think goalie said that we didn't have 17 or 18 shots in the first 40 minutes for the Chicago game.
Right.
So
Right.
it's a loss. I was encouraged, 4-3. I really thought we were tying it up and going to overtime. But Carter Hart just made some really good saves.
He did. So I don't necessarily disagree with the putting Kachuk with Barkov. Little top heavy for my taste, but I figure we've got Duclair coming back at some point, and that's all going to be mixed and matched up again.
But he
My
had to
issue,
do something.
well, yeah,
And
and let me,
we were talking about
right, that move, yes. My concern is, and I mentioned this, I made this comparison on the recap. My concern is the stubbornness of I almost called him brunette because it's the same thing. The stubbornness of Maurice to not put Sam Reinhart with Anton Lundell.
and you know
And and
why?
and and I made the comparison with the Dolphins. When Jimmy Johnson took over for Shula, he ruined the rest of Marino's career because he insisted they were going to win his way. And it's starting to smell to me like an ego thing. Like, no, I'm not going to put Reinhart with Lundell because that's how they did it last year, and it's going to work my way or no way at all. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just how it appears to me because there's zero logical reason whatsoever at this point not to put Reinhart back with Lundell after it worked so great last year.
Well, I'm going to tell you why he's not doing it. He feels that Lundell with Luosterainen and White is working, that there's chemistry there, and he doesn't want to break that up. That's the reason. Even though you and I see it differently, and maybe Maurice didn't, he didn't watch games last year.
Right.
And he doesn't have the assistant coaches from last year telling him, hey, I think it's better we put So that's the reason why. I like that he benched Cousins and put Eric Stahl in. Because Cousins to me has been a bust. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, plain and simple. And I thought Eric Stahl played pretty good. I thought Mark Stahl played good. And let's just mention the fact that two defensemen had goals last night.
3.
Oh,
it was
Mahura.
Forsling,
Right.
Mahura, and Montour.
Right.
Yeah.
I apologize. That's
all
right.
the goals were for defense. Yeah.
So Forsling's goal was great. I'm like, and then the Mahura goal from a real tough angle.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Mahura.
Yeah. And the defense as a whole, I feel good. I'm good, bro. I mean, I'm good.
Yeah, me too. Gudis
Right.
is solid. Mark Stahl had a decent game.
Right.
Not great, but decent. But Mahura is like Forsling 2.0. Not as good, but solid.
Right.
Playing with confidence. Pretty much making the right decisions with the puck.
I just gotta wonder. Sorry, sorry, it's just to that point. We talked about this a little bit on the stream last night. I just wonder if Mahura was like, when they let him go, it was like us with letting go Carlson. It's like, man, nobody better pick him up. We're gonna be pissed if we pick him up. And whoopsies. That's actually what we're seeing with Mahura is why I was so pissed off about us letting Lucas Carlson go, because you'd never know when you're going to lose a guy. So
Lucas Carlson?
Yeah, when we waived him and when we cut him from the team and put him on waivers.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that
you were worried about someone picking him up.
I was worried about somebody picking him up, and everybody said, no, nobody has any cap. And then look how we got Mahura. So I'm just wondering if his fan base was, when they let him go, if they were concerned about losing him and then,
absolutely
doing it.
And I got news for you. I guarantee you that the Panthers scouting staff wanted to take him in the draft, and Anaheim scooped him up. Because Zito made that move real quick.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah, the defense, even with Ekblad, you really can't complain about the defense. Forsling has stepped up just like I knew he would to lead that defense. I like the Mahura-Gudis pairing. In fact, somebody posted on Twitter that they're the #1 defensive pair in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So again, you got a combination of stay back defenseman Gudis, and then you got an offensive potential in Mahura.
Gudis has been all over the offensive zone, though. I mean, I know it's supposed to be that way, with him being the stay back guy, but he ain't been staying back at all. I mean, many, many times he's the guy that they're dishing the puck off to at the blue line. And even last night he was behind the net. So it's just working. Just put it that way. It's just working.
Kierstead has played better. I mean, he looks like a different player.
Yeah, he looks so much faster. You're right.
Yeah. So
right.
I wasn't happy with Bob's performance last night. I think a couple of goals he should have stopped. I didn't like, there was one play where he blindly passed it. He was behind the net.
Right.
And he just threw it in the corner and it got intercepted. You cannot make between goalies and defensemen. You got to look up and see where you're passing.
Right.
I mean, they didn't score, but we got lucky on that.
Right.
But like I said, they totally dominated the first period. And of course, Philly scores we scored. Okay. We scored.
Yeah.
Let's just say 3 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
And then, a couple of minutes later, we let Philly score on, somebody missed an assignment. So, so I just thought Bob didn't have one of his outstanding games.
Well,
It's
no,
just,
I mean, um, the previous game, at one point he had allowed 3 goals and 14 shots. And last night it wasn't a whole lot better at some point. And it's not like every goal, it's not like they're all bad goals, right? It's not like we're playing great and then he's just letting in weak goals. One of the goals last night, I forget which one it was. I think it was goal number 3, because I was still lifting weights for goal number 3 when they scored goal number 4. I believe it was either the second or the third goal. Again, we keep seeing this where defenders are coming back and they're doing their job, and then the forward is absent and not getting back in time. Guys left in front of the net, and the puck's in the back of the net. And that's part of getting used to the new system. I kind of figured was going to happen. We've seen it multiple times. There's no other explanation for what's going on, is the forwards are just not getting back in time. So I would anticipate we see Spencer Knight on Saturday, because that's a couple of rough
yeah,
outings for Bob in a row, even though, again, I'm not saying he was bad, but a goal here, a goal there with this team is going to make the difference. You know what I mean? His margin for error is slimmer now, right? Again, we talked about this with the previous game when it was 3-0. It's like last year we win that game 7-3. We were not
and
even worried about the 3-0.
right. And that was going to be my next comment,
Go
because
ahead.
when Bob lets in 4 goals, that's like loss all over it.
Right.
The saving grace last year is we got 5 and 6 goals.
Yeah, we were getting 5 and 6.
So
Right.
so Bob can't let up 4 goals this year.
No.
I don't think that, and again, last year we had, I think it was 29 or 30 comeback wins. That ain't happening this year.
Ain't happening this year. No.
That's a big difference. Bob
Right.
lets in 4 goals. It's not good.
Right. Look, like I said at the start, I have to go back and look at my video, because if you look at the last season, the last prediction video I did for the season, I broke it down into what I thought the record would be after every 20 games. And I believe, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong here, but I believe I said 11-6-3 after 20 games.
For this
And I
year.
talked about, for this year.
Yeah,
And
I remember that.
Okay. And I talked about the chemistry, not just between the lines, but learning the new defensive system. And almost every game we've given up at least one goal where it's clear the forwards are not doing their job. And I think that stuff's going to get solved. I think it can't help but get
It's
solved.
got to. And I
Right.
they're gonna watch video, and he's
Yeah.
gonna say, Verhage, you missed your man there. And
Right.
White, you missed your man there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously they're gonna be
So
working on that.
that'll get solved. The whole thing with the chemistry and the lines and everything. I mean, they're talking about Ekblad might come back November 12th. I'm just I'm just reporting
Well, I
what they're
know.
saying.
When
I
they
know.
announced that, what did I say to you?
Don't rush them
What did
back,
I
man.
what did I text you? There's
Right.
no reason to rush him back.
Right. I know.
God forbid he comes back the 12th and he gets hurt again, and then he's out
Right.
another month or 2.
Right.
The defense is playing good.
Right.
So
And then you
wait,
got,
so Ekblad comes back, who goes out?
well, somebody will have to go down. We'll either wait. Well, most likely, if my guess is correct, based on what we saw last night and based on Paul Maurice's tendencies, we'll waive Nick Cousins. And then if he doesn't get taken by somebody else, he'll go to the AHL, and that'll clear the space for Ekblad. Now, Duke's a different story. Duke's a totally different story. I still have no idea what we're going to do there. But with Ekblad, I think one of the two, either Stahl or Cousins, is going to get waived. Nobody's going to pick them up, and they'll be in the AHL waiting.
I don't think he'll waive Stahl. I think
I kind of agree with you there.
I think it's Kerstead. I don't think Mahara's going anywhere.
You think they'll send, I mean,
Kirstead down.
right. Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying, because we've got
And I
the
don't
extra,
know if he has to go through waivers.
um,
If he
I
goes through
believe
waivers,
so.
somebody's picking him up.
No, I actually don't think so, because I think it was Kiersted that signed a 2-year deal. This year it's 2-way. So I believe that means he can go down and to the AHL. Um, but I know that, but we're still over. We're still over, even when you send Kiersted down, because we added Stahl.
Right.
So
Which,
it's still,
I didn't like that move. I still don't like that move. But knowing Maurice and his preference to play the veterans,
yeah.
that's why I said Kiersted.
Yeah.
Mahura has definitely solidified his
Oh
place
yeah, that kid ain't
on
going
the
no,
D.
no. He ain't going nowhere.
So,
And then
like I
I just
said,
start thinking,
I just hope, that groin injuries are tough, man.
right, right. There's no reason to rush him back. We fully agree there. There's just no reason to do it. So we'll have to see what happens there. And then they're talking about, you know, Duclair is on timetable for, December,
January.
January. Yeah, December, January. Um,
And
I don't know how we work that out. I don't know who's gonna sit at that point, even if you have to clear somebody out to clear the cap space. Um, yeah, I don't know if you're gonna start him right there on that top line either. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna leave Kachuk with Barkov, which seems like that might be the thing, um,
that's temporary.
you think that's temporary?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Because
until Duke,
the natural thing is, and because they played together and they did well for Hagee, Barkov, and Duclair. Again,
right,
I don't think they should rush Duclair back.
right. No, I agree. Right.
But I think coaching, they're thinking that, Duclair brings firepower. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, we'll see.
So we'll see.
But
Hey, look, I mean, it could be worse. We could be the Lightning right now.
and you're not worried about the Lightning, are you?
Not at this particular moment, no. Boston, however, just keeps Boston is going to run away with it soon here at this pace. You know what I mean? They're gonna be like the Panthers, where by the time
Good,
everybody else wakes up,
good.
we're gonna
Let them
look
win let them win the
let the
President's Trophy.
exactly.
Listen, we only have to finish in the top three.
Yeah.
How's Toronto doing?
Meh, meh. They're in there, but Boston's got a. I think Boston started last night with a 3-point lead, and then they won and we lost. So it's either they have a 3 or 5 point lead. I don't know how everybody else did, but well, yeah, fine, whatever. I mean, if they're gonna win the division, that'll make Raven happy, and I like happy mods on the stream, so we're good there. But um, it's
Let's get back to the power play because you and I
yeah,
were
yeah.
talking
Thank
last
you,
night,
thank you. I knew there was something. Yeah.
specifically about Barkov. So why don't you tell the
Ah,
folks what your take
okay.
is? Because we definitely both agree, but let's.
So I might have had a moment last night in the second period on this stream when we were before we had finally scored a power play goal. And I get what Maurice is trying to do, because Montour actually got a goal because he was in the circle, and he was, in that part of the power play and not running it. But well, I okay, if you want to put Montour there and you think he's going to make something happen, and he did, oh, okay, I got no problem with that. But we've already learned this lesson multiple times, that Barkov should not be the guy at the blue line handling and distributing the puck. And I don't understand why Maurice just keeps throwing him out there no matter what. And this is
Because
why Bruno got fired.
he's a stubborn fuck.
Well, there
How
you go.
about a Forsling and Montour?
Right.
Okay, Montour in the right circle, and that where Ekblad would be. Okay, Forsling at the point. Okay, and then you got obviously Kachuk in front, Barkov. Sit Reinhardt and put Lundell out there.
Well, he
Option
yeah.
A. Option B, put Reinhardt at the right point. Let him, let him. Now, I like, there's so many times when Barkov and Reinhardt are moving the puck up to get in the zone.
Right.
A lot of times when they had Bennett on there, a lot of times Barkov was deferring to Reinhardt to bring it in. So why not? Because Reinhardt ain't scoring.
Well, yeah.
Maybe he would get a goal shooting from the point and letting a tip in or something. But yeah, the one thing I didn't see a lot of last night was the back pass, which is good.
Right. Yeah. No, that was good.
That just, I hate that.
Yeah.
But why don't those are two options. Option B.
Right. And to be clear, look, Markov is who he is in terms of the greatness that he does have, but not, some players can't do every single thing. Some guys can't do everything you ask them, and he's just not power play quarterback. It's just not.
Put Barkov in the Braden Point slot, and the five of spades. Put him in the middle.
Yeah.
And let Reinhardt be on that right side.
Right. Yeah.
That's where I'm at. But I don't, Forsling and Montour on the point.
Yeah. And Lundell definitely, he was out there, and he looked good on the power play. I mean, when we scored the power play goal, Lundell was on the right circle, and Montour was almost in front of the net. I mean, it was a different. I'll give Maurice credit for putting it together differently, and it did work. But I'll never, unless Barkov just suddenly becomes great at running the power play, it just should be somebody else. And look, this happened to us last year, and this is the interesting thing for me, is this is what got Bruno fired, because when Ekblad went out from the power play, he couldn't figure it out. He could not put together a configuration that worked, and we looked good to start the year on the power play, and Ekblad went out, and Maurice can't put together. I mean, I know we got one last night, but it ain't like it's ripping here. You know what I mean? He can't figure out a configuration to make it work without Ekblad. And so the dude needs to just stop getting hurt, because every time we lose him on the power play, all the other pieces we move around, it just goes to complete hell. Not even it's a little bit worse. It goes from looking halfway decent to 0 for 20, 0 for 30. I mean, just worse than
how many power plays did we have last night? 4?
I didn't count. I know we were 0 for 6 in Chicago. I mean, I know we at least had 3, because we had already not had a goal in the power play before we scored, and I know we had one after we scored. So we at least
I think
3.
we had 4. So that's 3 for 36.
Yeah, 3 for 36. Yeah. So we had 4.
So,
and 2 of those, the 2 of those are when Ekblad was on the team. So there you go. I mean, that's the first power play goal we've had since he got hurt.
There might be a reason why Forsling won't be on the top unit, and that's because he runs the second unit.
Yeah. I mean, can nobody else? I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's just very frustrating. Now, one thing I want to get your opinion on, because somebody had brought this up, because we've kind of talked about is Barkov off because of the Huberto thing and all of that. But True, a good friend of the channel, kind of brought up something that, and I've experienced this myself. I know other people that have. We all know Barkov got all jacked up and beefed up this year. And sometimes when you lose weight, gain weight, thinking that you're improving your game, it affects certain things physically. And to me, like that's why pitchers, you don't see pitchers that are like this, right? Because it screws up their arm motion, right? They're generally, not jacked, right? His shot looks off to me. Like last night, when he's shooting as hard as he can, he's missing the net. And when he's not shooting as hard as he can, he's going right into the goalie's belly. His shot looks off. And he brought up the idea, and it's why pitchers don't do that. That maybe the extra bulk and all the extra muscle and how jacked he is has messed with his shot a little bit. Because that's the biggest thing that looks off, is that his shot doesn't look the same. It looks like he's struggling that way. So,
But you got to look at Huberto did the same thing, and it turned him around.
well, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right?
Yeah, well,
I mean,
that's a good observation, and it might be true.
right,
But
right.
for him to go, what are we now?
8, right, games in.
What are we? 4-2 and
No, we're
One?
8, 4, 3, and 1. It's 8 games.
4-3-1.
In
Eight games.
in 8
No
games,
goals.
there's 1 goal between Barkov, Reinhardt, and Sam Bennett. And we don't have Duclair out there, and we don't have Ekblad out there.
Oh, good.
Right. I mean, right. So, all right. That's enough for this morning.
That's enough for this morning.
That's enough for this morning. I didn't think we were going to win that game last night when I did the pregame.
I know you said 5-2.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like, I could just sense it for whatever reason. So,
well, after the first period, Tortorella was in there, screaming his head off.
Look,
because they definitely responded. So Konecny looks like the Panther killer. Oh, you know what we got to mention? Owen Tippett. We'll end with this. Yeah. Owen Tippett on the power play.
Yeah.
All right. Owen Tippett was set a goal. I mean,
yeah. No, he didn't look.
The kid's getting a shot.
Yeah, the kid's getting a shot, and why not? Right? Why not? We always. I mean, you and I used to talk about that. Hey, put him up on the power play. He's got a good shot. They didn't do a great job of setting him up for it, but he did have one. He did have one good opportunity. So, yeah, I mean, look, it looks like he's got a coach that's going to believe in him and give him the time to develop, and that's kind of what he needed, right? Because he was smack dab on a team that was insisting we were going to win the cup. Right. So you had to produce or not. Right. I mean, we're scoring 6-7 goals a game, and you had to produce or not. Philly, it's a different situation. They're not expecting to be anything, spectacular here anytime soon. So he's got time, less pressure. It's weird. I know with Tortorella, you wouldn't think about less pressure, but he can just kind of develop naturally and do the things that he does well rather than being pressured to maybe be something he's not. So good for him. Good for him, But look, don't worry, Panther fans. Now, I need you guys to think about this, okay? You're going to have to start coming to terms with this. I predicted the Huberto Tkachuk trade. A couple people called me crazy, and I was correct. I predicted the slow start. People called me crazy. I was correct. I've also predicted we're going to win the cup. Okay?
Yep.
So
again,
I'm not panicking.
As long as we peak going into the playoffs, as opposed to last year when we just fizzled out. The last 4 games, they I'm not going to say they coasted, but they
just
didn't they didn't play good. Teams that peak at the end. Yeah. I mean, I saw it. Just look at LA. Just look at St. Louis. When they won the cup, St. Louis was in last place at the All-Star break.
Right.
And they came back and won the cup.
And won the cup.
LA was the 8th seed.
Yep.
And they beat some good teams.
Mm-hmm.
And they won the cup. So I'm not worried. They'll get it together.
Right.
And
just get in and be healthy when we get in. That's it. Those are the 2 things that matter. That's it. Get in and have our guys. We clearly are missing Ekblad and Duclair. We're missing Ekblad's offense and defense, whatever, man. Put him on wing. Leave the defense as it is and put Ekblad on the wing. I don't care. You know what I mean? But we definitely, no doubt, miss Duclair. Those, especially on the power play. Those 2 guys. I mean, you know, I can bitch about Maurice and Barkov, but we're missing two key power play people. There's no way around that.
Yep.
So, all right.
All right.
This will be the only video of the day, guys, because Matthias is home. We're going to see the ships at the port. We're going to get the pumpkins, and we're pumpkin carving. And then tonight we're filming the Halloween episode. So, and then Saturday, the game is at 4. I'm actually going to remember the time. So the live stream will start at 3.
We're
And we're
going
gonna
to
go.
the game.
You going to the game? Very
Yeah.
cool. That's where
Thank
I
you,
got confused.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Dana.
Yes, thank you, Dana, for helping Stu out with the tickets. We genuinely appreciate that. So, all
Got
right,
good seats too.
you got good seats.
Yeah, 115 Panther defense side.
All right, cool.
Row 17 is, the 15 through 18 are my
Are
favorite
you?
rows.
That's we don't care about that. What we want to know is, are you going to schmooze with the new Katie?
Schmooze with the who?
Are you going to schmooze with the new Katie?
No.
Oh, come on, bro. Come on.
No.
Come on. Just okay. How about this? How about this? You give somebody else your phone, and they film you attempting to schmooze with the new Katie, and that's the intro for the following game. Come on. Come on, 1 million views, buddy. You know how many subscribers we'd get for that? I'll make it a
Okay.
short. It'll go.
I'll say,
go,
let's just say if I see her down at ice level,
right.
doing interviews or whatever, I might, introduce myself.
You got to
Maybe,
shoot your
maybe
shot,
take a
man.
picture.
Yeah, man. You got to shoot your shot.
Anyway. All right,
All right,
folks.
guys. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you again really soon. Okay.